They told me I'd slow down after 70, then again at 80, and certainly by 90. But here I am, 91 years old, still behind the wheel, still walking every morning, and still living without a single sick day in over 3 decades. Not one cold, not one flu, nothing. And no, I wasn't born with some superhero immune system. I didn't inherit perfect genes. What I did inherit was a stubborn belief that small habits, done every single day, matter more than big ideas we never follow through on. People ask me all the time, what's your secret, expecting a fancy supplement or a cutting-edge medical breakthrough? But the truth? It's 5 simple things. Just 5 habits that anyone, yes, even someone starting today at 60, 70, or 85, can begin. These 5 habits aren't flashy. They won't go viral. But they're the reason I still drive myself to the store, remember my neighbors' birthdays, and get up every morning with strength in my legs and clarity in my mind. And I want to walk you through them one by one, because it's not too late, not for you, not for anyone. Let's start with the first one, because it happens before my feet even touch the floor. Now, I used to be like most people. Alarm goes off. I'd swing my legs out of bed, check the time, grab the newspaper, and get on with the day. But that's exactly what led to years of stiffness, foggy mornings, and near falls on the way to the bathroom. It wasn't until I was 61, after tripping over a slipper one groggy morning, that I realized I was asking my body to sprint before it even woke up. That's when everything changed. Nowadays, before I even sit up, I lie there and breathe. 3 deep breaths, slow, intentional. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Then I stretch my fingers wide, like I'm shaking off the night. I wiggle my toes. I rotate my ankles and wrists in slow circles. It takes maybe 90 seconds, but it sends a powerful message to my body. Wake up gently. I'm counting on you today. You might think it sounds silly, but this small ritual, done every morning for the last 30 years, has kept me balanced, loose, and ready for movement. There's actual science behind it, too. A doctor once told me, the body ages fastest in the first 30 minutes after waking. Your blood is thick. Your joints are cold. Your nervous system is groggy. Most people go from 0 to 100, straight into stress, news alerts, aches and pains. I do the opposite. These little motions are my way of shaking hands with my body and saying, we're still a team. They boost circulation, send oxygen to the brain, and most importantly, they prepare my muscles to support me. I haven't stumbled or lost my balance in decades. And believe me, I live in a home with rugs, pets, grandkids, and the occasional wet floor. Still, not a single fall. What makes this ritual powerful isn't the movement itself, it's the consistency. Think about it. The gym membership you never use? It doesn't help. The fancy wellness tracker gathering dust in a drawer? Useless. But 90 seconds every morning, done without fail, that changes everything. That's the quiet power of a habit. And I know you're probably thinking, but I don't have the time, or I'm not a morning person. But the truth is, you don't need to be. You don't need a yoga mat. You don't need music, a stretching app, or even to get out of bed. You just need intention and 90 seconds. That's all it takes to tell your body, we're not hitting snooze on life today. This small moment has rippled into the rest of my mornings in ways I never expected. It's the difference between feeling 71 and 91. It's why I move better now than I did 30 years ago. And it's not just me. The National Institute on Aging did a study on older adults who practiced gentle morning movements. They found those individuals had higher energy, better balance, and sharper mental clarity throughout the day. You see, aging doesn't hit you all at once. It sneaks up in moments like these, in what you skip, in what you rush, in what you overlook. But health, real lasting health, begins in those same small, quiet moments. That's where strength is built, not in a gym, not in a clinic, but right there in bed with a few deep breaths and some kindness toward your own body. Now, let me be clear, I don't do this because I'm obsessed with wellness or because I read it in some blog. I do it because it works. Because when I forget, my knees remind me. My ankles tighten. My head feels heavy. That's my body asking, hey, where's our wake-up call today? This habit is my daily handshake with life. And it reminds me I'm not done yet. That's what I want for you too. A moment every morning that says, I'm still here. And I'm ready. Next, I'll tell you about the drink that changed everything for me. The one I've had every morning for 3 decades that's kept my immune system sharp and my digestion running like clockwork. It's not sold in stores. It's not made by a celebrity brand. And you can make it in under 3 minutes. We'll get into that in the next section. But for now, tonight, tomorrow morning, try it. When you wake up, don't rush. Don't grab your phone. Don't launch into a to-do list. Just breathe, stretch, move gently, and say to yourself, today, I begin with care. Trust me, your body will remember. And one day, when you're 91 like me, still driving, still living, still waking up strong, you'll be glad you did. Now let's talk about the drink that's kept me off antibiotics, out of doctors' waiting rooms, and feeling strong every single morning since I was in my 60s. I call it my golden glass. It's not a secret formula. It's not a supplement from a fancy label. And no, it doesn't cost $20 a scoop. Every single morning, before I eat anything, before coffee, before the phone, I pour myself a warm glass of water. I squeeze in half a fresh lemon, stir in a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and add just a tiny pinch of black pepper. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. And that one glass? It changed my life. Now you might be thinking, lemon? Turmeric? What's so special about that? But let me break it down, because each of those ingredients has a job to do. First, lemon. That squeeze of lemon gives you a natural dose of vitamin C, not the synthetic kind, not the chewable tablets, but the kind your body actually recognizes. Vitamin C is like fuel for your immune system. It helps your white blood cells fight off anything that tries to get in, colds, viruses, you name it. And lemon juice also supports your digestion in ways most people don't realize. As we get older, our stomach acid drops, which makes it harder to digest food properly. That's why so many folks over 60 feel bloated, sluggish, or tired after breakfast. But lemon juice gently boosts your stomach acid and signals your liver to start producing bile. That's what gets your digestive system working like a well-oiled machine. No more gas. No more heartburn. No more mid-morning crashes. Then comes turmeric, this bright golden spice you've probably heard of, but maybe never tried. It's nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory root. And inflammation, whether you feel it or not, is behind most of the things we blame on aging. Joint pain, brain fog, aches that don't go away. Turmeric quiets that internal fire. And it's not just old wives' tales. Hundreds of studies have shown that curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, lowers inflammation, boosts immune response, and even protects against cognitive decline. But there's a catch. On its own, turmeric doesn't absorb well in the body. That's where the black pepper comes in. It contains a compound called piperine, which boosts the absorption of curcumin by, get this, up to 2,000%. That's why the golden glass needs all 3 ingredients. Each one is good on its own, but together, they're a team. I started drinking this golden glass 30 years ago after reading a study about inflammation and aging. At the time, I used to get sinus infections twice a year, like clockwork. My knees would stiffen up in the winter, and after breakfast, I'd feel heavy and tired, like my whole system was dragging. But 2 weeks into this simple habit, I felt like someone had taken the weights off my joints. My gut felt lighter. My head is clearer. I didn't change anything else, just this one drink. And over time, something incredible happened. I stopped getting sick. Year after year, flu season would come and go, and I'd feel nothing. My neighbors were coughing, my friends were sniffling, but my body stayed strong. To this day, I've never missed a morning. I make it the same way every time. Heat the water, not boiling, just warm enough to sip. Squeeze half a lemon. Stir in the turmeric. Add the pepper. And I sit with it quietly, like a little gift to myself before the world starts talking. This isn't just about the ingredients. It's about what the habit says to my body. We're starting strong today. It's a declaration that I choose health, not by chance, but by choice. Now after I finish that golden glass, I do something else that most people overlook. I walk. And no, I'm not talking about power walking with weights or sprinting down the sidewalk. I take what I call my healing walk. Just 15 minutes. Every day. Rain or shine. I step outside. No headphones. No phone. No distractions. Just movement. Just breath. When I was younger, I thought exercise had to be intense. I used to jog in the mornings, convinced that sweat was the sign of youth. But I was wrong. A study I read when I turned 65 said something that flipped my whole view. Walking, just walking, could reduce systemic inflammation, improve memory, regulate blood sugar, and even lower your risk of death by nearly 40%. That's when I stopped chasing sweat and started embracing rhythm. These walks are not workouts. They're recalibrations. They reset my entire system, my joints, my breath, my brain, my mood. If I skip a day, and believe me, I've tried, I feel it immediately. My shoulders round forward. My legs get tight. My mind starts to fog. But the moment I get back outside and start moving again, I feel like a machine that just got tuned up. I don't go far. Sometimes it's just around the block. But I always go. Not because I'm especially disciplined, but because I've seen what happens when I don't. There was one day, I must have been around 67, I skipped my walk because I had a meeting. I figured I'd do it later, but I never did. And by the evening, I felt old. Not tired, old. Like my body didn't belong to me anymore. That was the last time I skipped on purpose. These days, I treat that walk like a prescription. I put on shoes with good arch support. I start slow. I breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 6. I swing my arms gently to open my chest. And here's something unexpected. I smile while I walk. Not because I'm always happy, but because the act of smiling actually makes me feel happy. It activates a part of the nervous system called the vagus nerve, which calms your stress, lowers your heart rate, and even helps digestion. One study from psychosomatic medicine found that smiling while moving amplified the anti-stress effects of exercise. So I walk, I breathe, I smile. 15 minutes every single day. I don't wait for motivation. I don't check the weather forecast. I just put on my shoes and go. Because motion is life. And every step I take reminds me, I still can. After my morning movement, the golden glass, and a quiet healing walk, there's one more ritual I never skip, ever. It's my breakfast. But not just any breakfast. I call it my brain and body breakfast because it's not about calories or filling my belly. It's about fueling myself to stay steady, focused, and strong all day long. You see, when I turned 60, I thought I was eating healthy. Whole wheat toast, a banana, maybe some oatmeal if I had time. But even with all that, I still felt like my energy crashed mid-morning. I started forgetting little things, like where I put my keys or whether I had taken my vitamins. My strength felt like it was slipping, even though I hadn't changed anything. That's when my doctor, bless her, looked me straight in the eye and said, "James, you're not eating enough protein." I was stunned. I thought protein was for bodybuilders and athletes. But she explained something I'd never heard before. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing protein, which means to maintain the same strength, healing, and sharpness we had at 40, we need even more protein at 70 or 80. That one conversation flipped a switch in me. I completely changed my breakfast. Now it looks like this. 1 boiled egg, simple and perfect. A cup of Greek yogurt, thick and full of protein. A small handful of walnuts. And a few blueberries on the side. That's it. But between them, I'm getting over 25 grams of high-quality protein, plus healthy fats, omega-3s, and antioxidants that feed my brain and my muscles. This isn't just about staying full. It's about building resilience. Protein is what your immune cells are made of. It's what helps your body repair tissue. It supports your memory, your focus, even your emotional balance. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 65 who consumed 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal had stronger muscles, better immunity, and fewer hospital visits. But the biggest surprise for me was what happened to my blood sugar. I used to crash around 11 a.m., that sluggish, cranky, can't think feeling. Since changing my breakfast, I sail through mornings like I'm decades younger. No crashes. No brain fog. I'm sharp, I'm calm, and I'm ready for anything. Even the DMV. And look, it doesn't have to be fancy. Some days I switch it up with cottage cheese and flax seeds. Other times I'll have a slice of sprouted toast with grilled chicken or a lentil scramble. The ingredients change, but the rule stays the same. Never skip protein, especially at breakfast. That's the meal that sets the tone for your entire day. Think of it this way. You wouldn't pour soda in your gas tank and expect your car to run. So why would we fuel our bodies with sugar and call it breakfast? Your body, especially in your golden years, craves the building blocks of strength. And that's what protein gives you. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to share what might just be the most important habit of them all. The one that doesn't involve food or movement, but controls everything else. It's what I do before I speak to anyone, before I check the news, before I even look out the window. I sit still, and I tune my mind. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this some kind of meditation? Not exactly. I don't chant or sit cross-legged. I just sit in my favorite chair, feet flat on the floor, and close my eyes for about 3 minutes. And in that time, I do one thing. I picture the kind of day I want to have. I imagine how I want to feel. Not what I need to do. Not where I have to go. Just how I want to move through it. Calm, steady, focused, kind. I see myself getting behind the wheel with confidence, having conversations with clarity, facing surprises with grace. I rehearse it all, not like a daydream, but like I'm laying out the path I want my day to follow. And the funny thing is, it works. More often than not, my day ends up matching the tone I set during those few quiet minutes. This might sound too simple, but there's real neuroscience behind it. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between something imagined vividly and something actually experienced. That's not wishful thinking, that's brain chemistry. Functional MRI scans have shown that when we mentally rehearse an activity, the same regions of the brain light up as if we were physically doing it. Over time, this kind of visualization rewires your nervous system. It teaches your body how to stay calm under pressure, how to breathe through frustration, and how to shift from reactivity to response. In a world that constantly pulls us into stress, this is how I take back control. Before the world even starts knocking on my door. You know what the real immune killer is? It's not viruses. It's not your age. It's stress. Chronic, low-grade, silent stress. The kind that creeps in through the headlines, the bills, the family drama, the uncertainty of what comes next. That kind of stress raises your cortisol levels, weakens your immune defenses, slows digestion, and even strips away muscle. And the older we get, the more different stress shows up. It's not just anxiety or frustration, it's forgetfulness, fatigue, that sense of being off, even when you can't explain why. That's why I take those 3 minutes every morning to steer my thoughts, not let them steer me. I remember a friend of mine, Walter, same age as me, a good guy, healthy for most of his life. But he was always wired with worry. Politics, money, the news, the neighbor's dog, you name it, he carried it. I tried to get him to do this mental exercise with me. He laughed. I don't have time to sit and imagine fairy tales, he said. Then one day, he collapsed in his kitchen. Heart trouble, out of nowhere. He survived, but things were never quite the same. A few months later, he asked me how I stayed so calm, why I never seemed rattled. And I told him, it's because I locked the door to worry every single morning. That's what I want for you, too. Because the truth is, when your mind is steady, your body follows. Blood pressure drops. Digestion improves. Immune cells wake up. You don't just think better, you live better. So if you're wondering whether a few quiet minutes in the morning can really make a difference, let me ask you this. How much of your day is shaped by how you start it? How many days spiral into stress because of one rushed moment, one negative thought, one little frustration before you even have breakfast? You might not be able to control what the day throws at you, but you absolutely can control how you meet it. And that power, that choice, is what keeps you young. For me, these 3 minutes of mental tuning have been the anchor of every good day I've had over the last 30 years. And when I miss it, and yes, even after all these years, sometimes I forget, I feel it. I react faster. I breathe shallower. I lose my sense of peace. But when I do it, just 3 quiet minutes, everything slows down in the best way. I move through life, not against it. I don't just survive the day. I shape it. A study from a University of Wisconsin-Madison back in 2016 found that just 5 minutes of daily mental rehearsal significantly reduced anxiety and improved focus in adults over 65. Even more impressive, it boosted immune response, and the effects lasted for weeks. That's not magic. That's the nervous system doing what it was designed to do when you give it what it needs. Calm, clarity, intention. You don't need to be a meditation expert. You don't need candles or mantras or music playing in the background. Just sit. Close your eyes. See yourself steady, strong, capable. Picture how you want to feel, how you want to walk into the world today, and let that picture shape your reality, because over time it will. So, let's put it all together. I wake up and move gently before I rise. 90 seconds of breath and stretch to send a message to my body. You're needed today. I sip my golden glass, lemon, turmeric, black pepper, because health begins in the gut and immunity starts from within. I walk, not to burn calories, but to breathe and reset, 15 minutes a day to stay limber and clear. I eat a protein-rich breakfast that fuels my body and brain, instead of loading up on sugar and crashing by noon. And I set my mind like a compass, so I can navigate the day with peace, not panic. That's it. Those 5 small things done every single day have kept me strong at 91, still driving, still remembering names, still saying yes to life. And no, it wasn't luck. It wasn't perfect genes. It wasn't a miracle cure or some celebrity cleanse. It was 5 quiet choices that rewired my body, bit by bit, day by day. You don't have to do everything at once. In fact, I'd ask you not to. Just pick one. Maybe tomorrow morning. You lie in bed a little longer and stretch your fingers, wiggle your toes. Take 3 deep breaths before you rise. That's enough. That's where the spark begins. Or maybe you'll boil some water and try the golden glass. 1 lemon, a pinch of turmeric and black pepper. You don't have to believe in it on day 1. You just have to be curious enough to try. Or perhaps it'll be the walk, a gentle 15 minutes, not to prove anything, just to remember that you can. The truth is, you're not too old. You're not too far gone. You're not behind. You're still here, and that means your story is still being written. With each bite, each breath, each thought, you're choosing the next chapter. And if you've been telling yourself, I'll start when I feel better, I want to tell you something honest. You won't feel better until you start. You don't wait for strength to show up. You build it, one habit at a time. One small decision repeated until it becomes second nature. I've had friends, some of them younger than me, look at my life and say, "You're lucky." And maybe I am. But luck doesn't explain 30 years without a sick day. Luck doesn't keep you balanced on a flight of stairs at 91. Luck doesn't remember your grandson's birthday without checking your phone. What is that? Habits. Gentle, quiet, consistent habits. And here's the best part. When you take care of your body this way, your body starts taking care of you back. It doesn't give up on you. It steps up. It wakes up. It adapts. It remembers what strength feels like. Now, I've shared the 5 things I do every single day to keep myself healthy, mobile, and focused. But before I wrap up, there's one more thing I haven't told you yet. Because while mornings matter, what you do at night might be just as important, maybe even more. There's a habit I've done every evening for years now, after dinner, after the news, after the dishes are done, and the house is quiet. A nightly ritual that signals to my body, it's time to repair. Something that prepares my cells for healing while I sleep, resets my nervous system, and, according to research, might even hold the key to slowing the aging process itself. But that's a story for another time. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you. Not just for listening, but for being open. For caring about your future enough to sit through a video that doesn't promise quick fixes or overnight miracles. Just simple truths from someone who's lived long enough to know what really works. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. A spouse, a friend, a neighbor who needs a little hope. And leave a comment below. Tell me which habit you're going to try first. I read every single one. And if you'd like to hear about my nightly routine, The Sixth Secret, I'll be sharing that in the next video. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the little bell. Because if you're still here, that means your story isn't over. And maybe, just maybe, the strongest, healthiest chapter is still ahead. You're not too old. You're just getting started.